Hi, I'm Lotus from Art History Kids, and I am so excited to be here today in our first video of the new year. This video is all about a $5 5-minute art cart refresh. So after the excitement of the holidays and all of the crafting and art opportunities that you probably had and explored in December, your art cart may be looking a little bit haggard, a little bit crazy, a little bit messy. Whatever the case, it is January now and we have a whole wonderfully creative new year ahead of us. So instead of getting bogged down with like a complete overhaul of the art cart and adding new things and restructuring everything and doing a lot, which can be overwhelming when we're already starting a new year, this is a simplified approach that you can do in 5 minutes, spending $5 if you'd like to, or spending no money at all if you don't want to. And the result will get you a really refreshed, inspiring art cart for your kids to use throughout the month and going forward in the new year. So don't worry about making this a big project. The key here is instant action. Watch this quick video, go to your art area, whether I'm saying art cart, but whether you have your art supplies on an actual cart or if you have them in a basket or a shelf, wherever the case may be, just go apply these few ideas. I've got 3 ideas for you today, and you will see an instant transformation that will make a huge difference. Now, in a future video, I am excited to go over all of what we have in our art cart here at our house, and it has changed over the years as my kids grew in age and their interests changed and the way that they like to make art changed. So it's really fun to kind of look at your art cart or your art area as this always changing, revolving door of supplies and activities and invitations for them. But one thing that is really, really important is that there is some space for them, whether it's a small, tiny basket with just 2 things, or whether it's a whole entire room full of art area activities and opportunities for them, that they have a space where they have instant access when inspiration strikes. Because kids are so creative and they will think of an idea, and if the art supplies are put away, or if you have to get them down, if they have to ask you for them, if it takes a long time, sometimes they'll just like move on to the next thing. And we want to capture that inspiration when it strikes, when it's fresh in their mind, when they're excited about an idea that they have. So this is going to look different for your kids depending on your house, how many kids you have, what their ages are. But even the youngest kids, you can leave out just some construction paper, colorful paper. And I love those paint brushes that you can just fill with water. They're meant to be filled with paint or ink, but you can fill them with water. And so when your kids paint with the water, it changes the color of the construction paper. But if they decide to paint with water on the couch or the walls or somewhere else, it's not going to be a huge disaster the way it would be if you left out some permanent markers or paint that was hard to get out of fabrics, something like that. But as your kids grow in age, you can start adding new things, add colored pencils, leave out a few paints. As they get even older, they might have access to scissors and glue and different things like that. So it can grow and have more things available for them depending on their ages. But just start with simple things. And we started with a Waldorf philosophy homeschool curriculum from the very beginning in our house. And I love that less is more approach. You don't need a lot of things out for them. Just a few key simple things are enough. And if they're beautifully presented, that's even better. It's very inviting. So the first thing to think about is where. So depending on your house and where your kids create art, there might only be 1 or 2 logical places for your art supplies to go. But if you tend to notice that your kids always love to make art near one sunny window, or my daughter went through a phase where she loved to make art in her room. For some reason, she just really liked that kind of solitude and quiet when she was drawing and illustrating. And so she preferred to create in her room. So she was older by then, so we could, move art supplies around. But depending on your kids' ages, their interest, kind of start to pay attention to where do they like to create. If it's warmer where you live and they can create outside, maybe that's where they prefer to create, is outside. So if you can, relocate the art supplies to the place where they love to use them. So wherever this could be, and maybe you need to put down some barriers, some drop cloths, some protective coverings so that you can keep the space safe if there's a carpet in that room. But if you can put the art supplies where they love to use them, that is a huge plus. Now, like I said, you might not be able to do this, and that's perfectly fine, but just having art supplies accessible to them in a room where they can reach them, where they can like get some inspired ideas and go and instantly start creating, that is so, so valuable. You're really showing them with that we're a household that values creativity, and it's important to us to see what you have to share in your visual art. And it's important to us that you're inspired creatively. So it's really, really powerful to do this right from the beginning in your house. So if you can, put your art supplies where your kids will love to use them, or as near to that place as possible to make it easy for them. Number two, also along the lines of making things easy for them, is how are things arranged? Now, if your art cart is just, and we've had phases of this where it's just overflowing. You can't even find the colored pencils. They're buried beneath all these other things. Everything's disorganized. All the paints are mixed together. If that's the case, it might be time to either do one of two things. Kind of reorganize what you already have. And again, this can take 2-3 minutes. It doesn't have to be a huge overhaul. Just quickly see, what can you do in 3 minutes? Or take half of it away, the things that you know that they don't use very often, and maybe just put those things in a different location to simplify what is out for them. So that when they do go, they see this nicely arranged crayons, markers, colored pencils, paints, clay, whatever you have on your art cart, that it's easy for them to see their options and they can just go in and find what they need and start creating. And I love to use kind of unexpected things for this. So on our art cart, we have actually a silverware organizer that organizes like the colored pencils and some paints and some different smaller things on the top section of the art cart. We use magazine holders, those simple cardboard magazine holders to hold different papers and supplies that are better to stay flat like that. And so you can use, old yogurt cups, recycle them, find things around the house, little small containers that make just the art cart look more inviting, that have a way of arranging the supplies so that your kids are really inspired and excited when they see them there in the art cart or the art area. So how are they arranged? And how many things are on the actual art cart. Make sure if there's things your kids haven't used for a year, they're maybe just not interested in that right now. And so it's better to just simplify what's out for them and put the things that they love, and maybe even upgrade a few of those things if you would like to as well. Which brings us to our third and final point, which is what is there on your art cart. So you can kind of look at what you already have and make it really exciting for your kids by just rearranging things, by making it really inviting for them. Or you might want to surprise them with something new every once in a while. So whether you want to bring in a new supply every month, every season, or however often you would like. And this is where the $5 comes in. It does not have to be expensive. You don't have to go and spend a lot of money at the art store. Never underestimate the excitement of a brand new box of crayons. So whether it's just as simple as a box of crayons, a box of markers, something, some new exciting paper to use, a canvas board to make you feel like you're really painting on something that's real, like real artist quality materials. And these things don't have to be expensive. You can find them all over the place at art supply stores, at craft stores. If you have a local homeschool supply store, they have great art areas usually. So what will you have? Even if it's just a few new paintbrushes, sometimes that can be really exciting. So you could just kind of see what your kids are interested in using lately and bring in a little bit more of that. And if you wanted to think about different things too, I have a couple to show you, but I love, these are tempera cakes. And a lot of people, they don't really think about tempera cakes when they think about art supplies, or they think of them as something that is, not really that fun to use. But I love these because when my kids were younger and the paints would always turn brown every time there was liquid paints on the art, on the art table, because nobody would, they were too young. They weren't used to cleaning off their brushes in between colors. These are perfect because they can get all mixed together, and then you just rinse them and they're their solid color again. So temperate cakes are a really fun, versatile supply to add if you don't already have it. These are a current favorite in our house if your kids are older, if they like more detailed work. These are kind of chalk markers. There are lots of different brands. The Posca brand is really good as well. But chalk markers can be a fun way to kind of outline things and give it a really stylized look if your kids are doing illustrations and things like that. Or you could really surprise them if you usually do two-dimensional art like drawing and painting. Get a really fun box of clay, whether it's air dry clay or modeling clay. These are so much fun, and these are more than $5. So if you wanted to spend a little more, but you can also find simple Crayola clay and air dry clay for really inexpensive. So you can spend $5, 5 minutes, totally refresh your art area, just reorganize what you already have, put it in a location that your kids are going to be excited to use it, add one new thing, make it really, really inviting for them, and you will be amazed at the transformation that this 5 minutes and $5 will totally change your kids' approach to art, and they'll be so excited, and you will love seeing all of the new things that they have to create and share and bring into the world with their art. So I am so excited to see their vision. Please be sure to tag me when you post your kids' art. I am at Art History Kids on Instagram and Facebook, and I cannot wait to see what your kids will create. And I have a lot more fun videos coming this year, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned, and I will be back with another video soon. Until then, stay inspired.